My brothers and sisters, let us speak of rejection, that moment when someone turns away from us when we hear no, or when a door closes. It hurts, yes, but it does not have to break us. Together we can learn to face rejection with strength, just as the Stoics of old did. When rejection comes, it is easy to feel like we've lost something, like we're not good enough. But Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Rejection is one of those outside events. It can hurt only if we let it. Rejection hurts because it feels personal, like someone is saying, "You are not good enough." But here's the truth. Rejection is not really about you. It's about circumstances, choices, and situations that are often out of your control. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, taught us this wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This means that the real pain of rejection doesn't come from the event itself. It comes from how we think about it. When someone says no to us, we often create a story in our minds. We think, "I wasn't smart enough," or "I'm not attractive enough," or "I'm a failure." But these stories are just that, stories. They aren't the truth. The world doesn't decide your worth. You do. Imagine you apply for a job and don't get it. Does that mean you're not good at what you do? It might mean someone else was a better fit for that role, or that the company was looking for something specific. It's not about your value as a person. It's about a moment in time that didn't align with your goals. Rejection is often life's way of steering us. Think of it as a signpost on the road. When one path is blocked, it's not the end of your journey, it's a redirection to something else. When someone rejects us, it's not a final judgment of who we are. It's just a way of saying, "This isn't your path right now." The feeling of rejection is natural. It stings, but what makes it worse is how we react to it. Seneca, another great Stoic, said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." This means that most of the pain isn't from the rejection itself, but from how we let it grow in our minds. For example, if a friend doesn't invite you to a gathering, you might think, "They don't like me," or "I'm not important to them." But in reality, maybe they just assumed you were busy or forgot to reach out. Our minds can turn small events into big tragedies if we're not careful. To ease the pain of rejection, start by questioning the story you're telling yourself. Is it true? Does this one moment define your entire worth? Most of the time, the answer is no. Remember, rejection isn't a mirror showing you your flaws. It's just one moment, one decision, by someone else, in a much bigger life. You are more than this single event. Let us not give rejection the power to make us doubt ourselves. It is not the end of the story, it's just a chapter. Keep moving forward. Rejection is not something we can escape. It's a part of life. But the way we face it can make all the difference. Instead of running from rejection, we must stand firm and let it come, just like a storm. Think about a storm for a moment. It's loud, fierce, and sometimes scary. But storms don't last forever. They pass, leaving behind calm skies and fresh air. Rejection is just like that. It may feel overwhelming at first, but it won't last forever. And just like a mountain during a storm, we must stand strong and unshaken. When rejection comes, it's normal to feel hurt. You might feel embarrassed, disappointed, or even angry. That's okay. The Stoics didn't tell us to ignore our emotions. They told us to face them. Seneca said, "We suffer more in our imagination than in reality." What he meant is that the pain we feel often becomes worse because of how we think about it. If you're rejected, your first thought might be, "I'm not good enough," or "This always happens to me." These thoughts are like adding fuel to a fire. They make the pain grow bigger than it really is. Instead of running from these feelings or letting them control you, try this. Pause and acknowledge the pain. Say to yourself, "This hurts and that's okay." Remind yourself that the pain won't last. Just like a storm, it will pass. Stay steady. Like a mountain doesn't argue with the wind. It doesn't crumble under the rain. It simply exists, strong, steady, and unshaken. That's how we should aim to be when rejection comes our way. You don't have to fight rejection. Fighting it, getting angry, or blaming others only makes you lose your peace. Instead, accept it as a part of life. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means you can't control what other people say or do, but you can control how you think and feel about it. When rejection happens, remind yourself, "This does not define me. This is one moment in my life, not the whole story." Think of rejection as a test, like lifting weights to grow stronger. Every time you face rejection and stay calm, you're building inner strength. Over time, rejection will bother you less because you'll know it's not as powerful as it seems. Being like the mountain doesn't mean you're emotionless. It means you're in control. You feel the storm, but you don't let it destroy you. You let it pass, and when it's gone, you're still standing stronger than before. This is the Stoic way, to face life's challenges, including rejection, with calm, courage, and wisdom. Together, let us become steady like the mountain, unshaken, no matter how strong the storm. Rejection is tough, but it's also an opportunity to grow stronger. By practicing these simple Stoic habits, we can change how we face rejection, turning it into a tool for building resilience and wisdom. Let's dive deeper into each habit. 1. Accept what happens. Life doesn't always go as planned. Sometimes we win, and other times we face rejection. The Stoics believed in amor fati, which means love your fate. This means accepting everything that happens, even the hard things, as part of your journey. When you're rejected, instead of saying, "Why me?" say, "This is part of my story." It might be painful now, but it's helping you grow into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Every challenge, including rejection, is a chance to practice courage and patience. Imagine you're walking on a rocky path. Each stone may hurt your feet, but those same stones are helping you build tougher souls. Rejection is like those stones. It's tough now, but it's preparing you for what lies ahead. 2. Look for the lesson. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." This means obstacles like rejection are not barriers, they are stepping stones. When someone rejects you, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I do differently next time? What is this teaching me about myself? Rejection is not the end of the road. Often it's a sign pointing you toward a better path. For example, if a job application is rejected, maybe it's because there's a better opportunity waiting. If a relationship ends, maybe it's because it wasn't meant to be and someone better suited for you is out there. Instead of seeing rejection as failure, treat it as a teacher. It's there to help you grow, improve, and redirect your energy towards something greater. 3. Focus on what you can control. You can't control how others think, feel, or act. What you can control is your own thoughts, actions, and attitude. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said, "Do your best and let the rest happen as it will." Here's how to apply this. Focus on giving your best effort in everything you do. If you're rejected, you can still feel proud because you gave it your all. Stop worrying about things you can't change, like someone else's opinion or decision. Think about planting a seed. You can water it, give it sunlight, and care for it, but you can't force it to grow. That part is beyond your control. Rejection works the same way. You can only do your part. The outcome is not up to you, and that's okay. 4. Be grateful, even for the no. It's hard to feel grateful when you're rejected, but every rejection comes with a hidden gift. Sometimes it's a lesson, other times it's an opportunity to grow or a clearer path forward. Seneca, another Stoic, said, "A wise person is content with what they have." This doesn't mean settling for less, it means appreciating everything life gives you, even the tough moments. For example, if someone rejects you, it might teach you humility or patience. If a plan doesn't work out, it might push you toward a better one. Rejection can remind us that we're still alive, still learning, and still on the path of growth. It's not the end, it's part of the journey. When we practice these habits, rejection stops being something to fear. Instead, it becomes something we can face with strength and grace. Accept what happens, look for the lesson, focus on what you can control, and be grateful for the experience. Rejection doesn't mean failure, it means growth. Together, let us turn rejection into a powerful tool that shapes us into stronger, wiser people. This is how we live like Stoics. Rejection is not the end of the road, it's a test. It's a chance to grow stronger. Just like metal becomes harder when it's put through fire, in life, rejection is like that fire. It challenges us, burns away our fears, and leaves us sharper and more resilient. Imagine steel being forged. It starts as a rough, dull piece of metal. To become something strong and useful, it has to go through intense heat and be hammered into shape. This process isn't gentle, and it isn't easy, but it's necessary. The same goes for us. Each rejection is like the heat and hammering. It feels uncomfortable, but it's making us into stronger, wiser versions of ourselves. Rejection forces us to confront discomfort. It's natural to feel upset or even defeated when someone says no or when something doesn't work out. But that pain is not permanent. It's a challenge, a moment that asks, Will you let this break you, or will you rise above it? Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, said, "Hard times strengthen the mind, just as work strengthens the body." Think about lifting weights. At first it's hard, and your muscles feel weak, but the more you practice, the stronger you get. Rejection works the same way. It strengthens your mind by teaching you to handle disappointment and move forward. The key to overcoming rejection is courage, not the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it head-on. Rejection cannot harm you unless you let it. It's only a temporary setback, not a final defeat. When rejection comes, tell yourself, "This is not the end of my story. This is a challenge to make me stronger. I will not let this define who I am." By choosing courage, you take away rejection's power to hurt you. It becomes a stepping stone instead of a wall. Rejection happens to everyone, even the strongest and most successful people. It's not a sign that you're weak or incapable. It's simply part of life. In fact, rejection often leads us to better opportunities or teaches us important lessons. Think of a time in your life when something didn't go your way. Maybe you didn't get the job you wanted, or a relationship ended. At the time, it felt painful, but looking back, you might realize that it pushed you towards something better. Rejection is often life's way of redirecting us to where we're meant to be. You are not alone in facing rejection. We all experience it, and we all have the power to grow stronger because of it. As Stoics, we believe that our strength comes from within. No rejection can take away your worth or your ability to keep moving forward. Let us face rejection together, as a united force. We will not crumble under its weight. We will let it shape us, strengthen us, and teach us. This is the Stoic way, to stand firm in the face of life's challenges and emerge stronger on the other side. Let rejection come. It will not break us. Instead, it will build us into something greater. If you found this guide helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more of Stoic guidance. Until next time, may you continue to grow and stay Stoic. Goodbye.